Are you thinking of selling your Amazon business? About a year ago, I sold my first e-commerce brand, or what people call an Amazon business. I used a broker to do that. At first, I tried someone who seemed like a more cost-effective option, but I did not like their process and I didn't really get any proper offers through them. I learned my lessons through those struggles and I switched to a big name broker. And within a month, I sold my business for what I set as my personal goal. I never really shared the whole process with you here on my channel, so I thought I'd invite someone from my broker, which is Empire Flippers, and ask them all the questions that I often get asked by other Amazon sellers. Let's dive into it. Please meet Andrew Voda. Andrew is a sales manager with Empire Flippers. Specifically, he's in charge of helping sellers plan for their eventual exit and sell their business. Andrew, I'll let you introduce yourself as well, and let's dive into the questions right after.
Yeah, I'm Andrew Voda, live in Orlando, Florida right now. And what I do at Empire Flippers, I've been here for a little bit over 4 years at this point. I help sellers, get their business ready for sale, answer any questions that they have, and, help them plan for a life-changing exit and then move on to the next chapter of their lives, basically.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks so much for being willing to answer all the questions that I have. These are basically questions I keep hearing from Amazon sellers who are thinking of selling their business. And the most popular one is basically, is Empire Flippers legit? So tell me, what makes you guys different from all the other brokers out there?
Yeah, that's definitely sounds like a keyword or like a Google search question right there, or YouTube one. Is something legit? So we've been in business for about 10 years at this point. We didn't just pop up over the last year or two when e-commerce businesses really became a lot more popular. It's been about 10 years running for us. And some things that make us unique besides that, talking a little bit more about our experience, we've sold close to 1,700 deals at this point. We have more deal flow than basically any other brokerage. Right at this very moment that we're talking, we have 166 businesses for sale. About 50 of them are Amazon businesses, people selling primarily on FBA. We've invested a lot in our platform too. It's not like we're just a simple website that sends a business out over email to get some interest. We have a platform for both buyers and sellers that requires proof of ownership and liquidity verification for buyers to even look at a business that a seller owns. And then for the sellers themselves, they actually have a nice process of being able to log into our platform, have a step-by-step walkthrough of what happens early on in the process, like in vetting, so they can see what's happening when they're selling their business. And at the very end, they get walked through the migration process as well. Besides that, I could keep saying a whole bunch of amazing, great things about us and our team. But I won't do that. We'll make it into a huge pitch here. There's a lot more, but maybe we'll probably get to some of those too.
Absolutely. And I like that you brought up the platform itself. I think that's often overlooked. I did enjoy using the platform. It made me feel taken care of. Everything's tracked. Everything's like, if you sell on Amazon, you're used to managing business through a platform. So this is very similar. And what also gave me a lot of confidence is knowing that everyone who's looking at my business has been pre-vetted. They have enough funds to purchase a business of my size. So that makes it all way more efficient as well when you talk to potential buyers. Awesome. The other question people always ask me is, what are the multiples right now? What businesses like mine go for? So is there a simple math we can do here together to kind of help people calculate their exit number? Like, how do we do this these days?
Yeah, good question. I have to say the caveat first when it comes to like a business like mine. Everybody's business is going to be unique. If they've built a good business, there's things they're doing that are different than other people. So, the best way to really get into that is to speak to us about that. That being said, if we want to use some just general numbers here, what we're seeing in the marketplace a lot now at this time, which is December 2021, for Amazon businesses specifically, we've seen a lot of sales happening in that 4x to 5x range. And then, of course, there's going to be some that exceed that. And there's going to be some on the other end of the spectrum that maybe aren't as big of businesses or like declining that would get offers less than a 4x. But it's really grown a lot over the last year and a half. And, one of the services that my team and I help out with is letting you know what to expect before you actually commit to selling your business. At this point in time, here's what your multiple is likely going to look like. Or if you want to grow the business, maybe it'll change in the future. Multiples will go up, but we want to give you the best sense for not only the multiple, but what your valuation is, what you should be adding back, and how to maximize your valuation.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree. Every business is a little different. So if somebody sold their business for 6, 7, 10x, doesn't mean that all of the businesses in that space go for that. Some businesses are just not as attractive. They will not enter into a bidding war, so you will not end up selling it for like crazy amounts. But having said that, it's still an amazing time. My multiple was about 335 when I sold a year ago. So it's only going up right now. Definitely an amazing time to sell. Now, Andrew, what commission does Empire Flipper charge on an exit? How do we calculate that?
Yeah, we've tried to make this really easy and transparent for people. There's a page on our website you can go to where you can actually type in the price that your business is worth or you're looking to sell for, and you'll see the exact commission. That being said, on the smaller end of the business spectrum, for businesses that are, smaller in size, it's 15% for those businesses. That only happens when we sell the business. So when we find the buyer, get the money in, that's when the commission would be assessed to the sale price. But on the higher end of the spectrum, it just continues to go down. It's a scaled commission model. So it'll go down the higher the business is worth. For example, up to $20 million, the commission rate goes down to about 4%. So there's a lot of numbers in between there, but you can play around with our calculator and actually see that online too.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll include a link to it right in the description here. So definitely play with the calculator.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
Tell me, how does exclusivity with Empire Flippers work? First of all, what does it mean? And when does it begin and how long does it last for?
Sure. Yeah. So broadly speaking, what exclusivity is, because there's a lot of first-time business owners that are looking to sell their business. Any serious broker or advisor, they're going to request a certain amount of time where they can exclusively represent your business for sale. This helps them because they're doing a lot of work to sell your business. They're investing a lot of their own time and resources too. So when it comes to Empire Flippers, our exclusivity period is 2 months long. When that starts, that is going to be the day that we list your business for sale. We do some prep work before that. Like we have a vetting process where we get all the numbers organized. At that point, that's not within the exclusivity period. So we're going to prepare everything. We make a decision whether or not we think we can sell it, and you make a decision if you want to work with us or not. But the exclusivity period only starts when you list the business for sale, and then it goes on for 2 months after that. Yeah. I think with you too, if you don't mind me asking, like you had experienced another broker that had, I think, like a 6-month exclusivity period. Was that right?
I believe so. If I remember correctly, I think it was like 6 months. And it was definitely a long time for me because I quickly learned that I can't sell my business for what I was looking to sell it for with that broker. But I still had to wait. And I had to wait for, if I remember correctly, half a year before I talked to you guys again and listed with you and sold within probably a month or so.
Yeah, I mean, part of the risk that we're taking with only having a 2-month exclusivity period is, maybe we don't find a buyer within 2 months. It is still a pretty short time to find a buyer for a business worth 6, 7, maybe even 8 figures. On the other side, though, we want to give you that option. Like if you feel that within 2 months of working with us that, A, we haven't sold your business or we're not on the way to getting it sold, you do have that option to kind of shake hands and move on if you'd like to.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's basically a no-brainer. 2 months is a very short period to sell the business. So yeah, you're not really losing anything, in my opinion, especially with all the work that's being done for you.
Well, I said you sold your business in like 2 weeks, right?
After we listed, yeah, within 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right, had to throw that one in there. Thanks.
Good one. Now, transition period. So when somebody has a buyer, the business basically is sold, but there's still a transition period, right? Now, tell me how long does it usually take? What does it include? What is being transferred? And is there any support that seller is supposed to provide after that transition ends?
Yeah, this is a good question, and one where I find that a lot of sellers expect that they're going to be, tied to the hip with the person that buys their business for like 6 months to a year. They expect that to happen a lot of the times. With us, by default, we only require 30 days of training and support. That comes in the form of, email communication, phone calls, Zoom calls. It's not like you're having to fly out or let, a buyer come and crash at your house and learn from you or anything like that. So 30 days of training and support by default. The times when that would change, you may have a buyer that wants a little bit more help and they would try to negotiate that into their offer. And if they want some extended support, we can likely help move the needle somewhere else, like get a higher price, get a little bit more cash up front. So if you as a seller are interested in helping out a little bit more, that could be a way to fetch a little bit more for your business, as buyers will appreciate that.
Yeah, good point. And from your experience, Andrew, as well, most Amazon FBA businesses are currently being purchased by the aggregators. Is that right?
Depends on the size. I mean, there's certainly a lot of activity with aggregators buying businesses.
Gotcha. So if it's an aggregator, usually they don't really need much transition period because they know how to run these businesses. In my case, it was a little different. It was a private sale, like family business who purchased my brand. So I did offer them 45 days. They asked me if I can offer them 45 days of support, but we really didn't use that. I taught them everything I could within probably the first few weeks.
Yeah. One other thing there too, like not all aggregators are the same, just like not all businesses are the same. Some have done it a million times. They really don't need any training and support. Others though are a little bit newer. Maybe they've raised even hundreds of millions of dollars, but they need a lot more help and support. So that's something, whether you're doing a deal with Empire Flippers or even off Empire Flippers, definitely dig into the experience of who's buying your business to try to understand a little bit better how much training and support are they really going to be asking us for.
Good point. My next question to you, Andrew, is how does non-compete work for Amazon FBA businesses? So after you sell your business, like, what can you sell in the same category?
Yeah, when it comes to a non-compete, what buyers are looking out for here, obviously, is they don't want to buy a business and then the seller turns around, takes all the money that they just gave them and starts the same exact business or selling the same exact product with their cash in hand and experience already. In reality, it's usually never the case that a seller is going to go and do that exact thing and actually start the same business that they just sold. So what it really looks like is most buyers are going to ask that the seller isn't going to start another business selling products in the same category. A lot of Amazon sellers, I'd say most that exit their business, still intend on being in the space and selling products on Amazon. So usually when it comes down to the non-compete, all that they're not allowed to do is go and sell products in the same category. But that can be discussed a lot too, because categories can be huge. Home and like household goods, there's a million different products there. So it's something that's discussed between the buyer and the seller, and something that with all the deals that we sell, we can really understand like, hey, this is going to be competing or this is not, and we'll go to bat for the seller if they do want to start a business that is maybe similar to the business that they just sold, but definitely not the same and not competing.
Yeah, so it's all negotiable and it's best to confirm in advance, probably with Empire Flippers first, right?
Yeah, it's one that you would want to run by us because we want to understand what your goals are as well. And understand too, if you are looking to compete, how much so? Because if it is going to be the same exact products that you're going to sell, or you're starting a business with somebody else and you're selling the same products, that can be a bit trickier. But we can work on advising you through that and seeing if we can land a deal for you.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Now, this is more like a broad question, but for everybody who's thinking of selling the business, how would you describe the whole process and what kind of support Empire Flippers really provides to sellers prior, during, and after the exit?
Our process, typically, I break it down in 3 steps, where we're going to have the first step, which is the planning and vetting process. Before we actually start vetting a business, where we're going through everything, we're going to have a call, we're going to talk, just like you and I did a couple of years ago, understand really what you're looking to accomplish. You get a chance to meet me, just like I get a chance to meet you, understand your business, see if it's going to be a good fit from a high level perspective. And from there, see if, now seems like a good time for you to sell to hit your goals, or if it's a down the road type of thing. So fast forward a little bit here, leading up to like really our first step of the process, it's going to be the vetting process. And as I already mentioned, that's when we're doing a deep dive into your business, really understanding the numbers, preparing the valuation, and getting your business ready for sale. That's where we'll lay out how everything is going to look, when you list, what the commission is going to be, how long it's likely going to take. The second step is going to be the actual sales process. And that's where our team is there to go to bat for you, get as much interest as possible in the business, and be the people that are there negotiating, fighting tooth and nail for you to get the best price. We're going to be negotiating not just the price too, but the purchase agreement, which can get pretty tricky depending on the buyer, but we've seen them all. So that's why we're here to help. At the very end, the third step in the process is the migration. Unlike a lot of other places, we're going to stay with you through the time that you're transferring your business, where we'll have a dedicated team that's going to be helping out, making sure that you get everything transferred over to the buyer properly. They walk away with the business, you walk away with the money. There's no guesswork for you about how to transfer anything while you have, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars hanging over your head there. We want to make sure that that gets done smoothly. So those are the main steps: vetting process, sales and negotiation process, and the migration process at the end.
Sweet. Only two things I wanted you to kind of talk about with me. One, what happens when somebody gives an offer to you as a seller, but there are so many other people who looked at your business. So when you accept it, are you basically accepting it fully, or I know with my experience, I had a little bit of a bidding war. So what is the rule with Empire Flippers? How does it work?
Yeah. Yours was a fun one too. So we were able to get a lot of interest really quickly. And we had that bidding war scenario where the price just kept getting driven up because there was a few interested parties. More or less high level, how our process works though, if you're in the driver's seat as a seller, you're selling your business and you're getting offers that are coming in, if those offers are below the listing price, then people are going to have a chance to continue to bid that up. We actually made some changes recently too, because we've seen so many competitive offers where we used to have the listing price. That was the price at which we expected you to sell the business. Now though, we have some terms built in where that can exceed the listing price, because obviously we want to sell your business as much as possible. And it happens quite a bit where that will go above the listing price. So basically, we're just going to be fostering as much competition as we can and drive that price up as high as possible.
Beautiful. The other thing I wanted to ask is, at what point do I, as a seller, get paid, and what conditions have to be met?
What we require when any buyer is coming to us is showing proof of funds and verifying their identity, so we obviously know who they are. Kind of a funny story real quick. I've talked with other sellers who have told me about other places that they go to that sell businesses, and how they're a great place for competitive research, because you can go there and actually learn about your competitors, because you don't have to prove how much money you have and you don't have to prove your identity. So it's like an open house. You can just come in and understand the business. With us though, we're going to have some moats there that you have to cross before you can just understand who is selling what and everything about their business. When it comes to you getting the money though, when we're going to go and negotiate for you and get an accepted offer, there's going to be a period of time in which we need to transfer the business over to the buyer. So the buyer will transfer the funds to Empire Flippers, or sometimes they'll use an outside escrow service. Once the money lands in that account, that's when the process will start for us to transfer the business to the buyer. That can vary as far as how long it'll take, maybe about 3 to 7 weeks, depending on the business. At the very end of that, there's a 2-week inspection period, and that means the buyer has everything they need. They have that time to just verify that everything has been transferred over properly. Once that's complete, the money will be released to the seller, sent from escrow to the seller's bank account of their choice.
Yeah, awesome. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks so much for your time, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you as well, Andre. Great talking to you again.
How was it? Did you learn something new? Do you still have any questions about the whole process of selling your business with Empire Flippers? If so, definitely comment below. I'll jump in and answer all the questions you guys have to the best of my abilities. And if you want to take me up on my offer and schedule a call to plan your exit, there's a link down below to do so. Definitely do that. There's also a link for the valuation tool and all the resources we discussed with Andrew. So definitely take advantage of this. And if you like the content I create, please subscribe to my channel.